world. This is JWP, Primo Beats, coming to you live from my living room. For around 20 years, I've been mixing and mastering music, rapping, songwriting, recently started singing, along with everything else that goes with music production, such as graphic design and editing, photo editing, video editing. And for around 15 years, I've been using SynthEdit to make my own audio plugins. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to hire me for music mixing, mastering, instrumentals, or custom plugin work, I can be reached at JWPmas@gmail.com. Alright, like 4 hours later, I'm finally getting to do what I want to be doing here, which is a sample session. And this is going to be different. I realized that, how do I add a segment? So my MPC sample sessions kind of have split off into directly sampling, because MPC sample itself would be great if like it could handle a full source with something like an hour and a half, and then just the tools like phase rotation. It's just not built for full-on sampling, in my opinion, as far as like, I wouldn't say crate digging. A lot of my sources are coming from movies, right? Like I don't really have a short list of audio songs and stuff that I'm going to pull from. So yeah, back to the beginning of Night of the Living Dead. I don't know how to get my in and out. There. Okay, so now I have one full segment here. But yeah, so I've already gone through this per se. I don't remember the workflow. It's been a while. So this is like the first episode of sampling session. I don't know if I should add like a caption for that, whatever. I probably shouldn't even add episode 1, just because things happen where, yeah, I should probably just take that out. Going forward, do I have titles in there? I don't have titles there. Not add things like that to the caption, because like I said, things happen where all of a sudden I can get distracted, and then this is no longer session 1 or episode 1. So I don't remember the workflow. I'm a little irritated because I haven't eaten, and it's taken me 4 hours to get here. I made the mistake of doing my laundry, and yeah, I have to do this. Generally, the things that I love to do, take precedence over everything, and I do them first thing in the morning for about half hour. That said, this is going to be about half hour. And I've already done this, right? Like I've already gone through all this, specifically this movie. However, I attempted to do it with MPC sample, and there was a lot of like issues of like me missing things, running out of space, just stuff like that. So I've already been down this road, so to speak. Let's just get right into it. No headphones. I don't feel like wearing headphones. I have to. Okay, so cut there. I could probably just put it in here. Again, I don't remember the workflow. Probably would have been a good idea to go look at the workflow from a previous episode. Well, the MPC sample episode, where I was sampling big time. Just looking for my keys here. Because I know I have a hotkey to just play from the beginning of the segment. Focus, duplicate, jump to, create, detect, select. Isn't that like a seeking, playback, reload, mute. Play current segment once. Alt-P? Nostril, how you liking the MPC sample? It is give and take right now. This is just a sampling session. This is my first sampling session. and the MPC sample just can't handle it. Like I chopped this video into 20 minute pieces, and it overloaded after I tried to load 3 of those pieces at one time. And then there's just things that you can't do, like zooming in real nice and tight to get a nice clean cut. So I've split off this session, like actually sampling, into its own thing, just so I can get some nice clean cuts. And there's other steps that I gotta go through. Like I said, I don't remember what I just said. I don't know if you're here for that. I don't remember my actual like stages of sampling, so I'll just roll with it. Oh yeah, sorry about the bots. Usually like a lot of people don't pop in. I'll go kill the bots here. I'm just trying to remember what the bot's name is. The bot's name is, I can't remember. So I gotta like look at my loadout. Loadouts, the bot's name is, I guess it's like right there, right? What does it say its name is? Botrix. And then I gotta sign in. And then Twitch and bot. I've just found Botrix more reliable than Stream Elements. I can't remember why, but it just is. Oh, and it also has a YouTube and stuff. I think Kick. I can just turn these ones off. I think it was the first one to have Kick. I don't know if Stream Elements has Kick yet. Of course. Dashboard, am I already logged in? Dash. No. Log in there. My bots are always giving me a tough time. Been looking for Stream Elements replacement. So I'm not sure if, of course, Stream Elements just doxes me right away. Thanks, Stream Elements. Chatbots, chat commands, chatbots. Oh, no streaming required. Just don't. It's just grab tap. So let's see what they got now. Channel settings, because it looks like they got Kick. They have X for whatever reason, Twitter, of course YouTube, but yeah, they do have Kick. Okay, so it looks like they're checking all the boxes now, but at one time they didn't have Kick yet, so I went with Botrix. And then, oh, did I even like kill the bot? I did, eh? Just for Kick. Otherwise, it'll just keep saying that this is a rerun. All right, into streaming. So I'll look at my naming conventions at least. Data, production, video data, sample sources, Dick Tracy. So naming conventions, EOTs. Why is that empty? Samples, here we go. So I got box, sound effects, XX means just like 2 different sounds put into one. Melodies, instruments are one shots, Vox again. Why do I have Vox again? I think it's just like sorting by cut date. I don't know why. Percussion. Okay, so at least that. Oh yeah, and then like the timestamp is mostly for variation because things can have like the same name. Anyway, so let's zoom right in here. What's going on with you today, Nostril? Are you even still there? Nostril. I popped into a recent, what was it? I can't even remember what you were playing. I wanted to stick around and hang out. I just always so busy. I can't even remember what it was. Let's try that. And then what was my hotkey? The one thing I really like about the MPC sample is that like you just keep triggering. Because like if I do Alt P, right? It's not even working. This one? What's going on? Why does it not work? Play current segment once. Alt P. Yes. But why? Oh, because it's not a segment, maybe? It doesn't restart? Can I say like play current segment? Play. Loop current segment. Play segments in order. Loop beginning and end of current segments. What's the difference between the loop current segment and the loop beginning and end? Play current segment. Okay, so it doesn't like restart. Like play segment from beginning. I guess I could just like use my hotkeys, I think. What's the hotkey here? So that doesn't look like... Oh, that's jumping to keyframes. Page down, page up, home, alt home. I don't know. It's like jump to beginning. Once I get into the routine, it'll be a lot easier and I can just do things. Jump to current segment start time. Shift left. Okay, so if I do that and I hit play, will it just keep... Yeah, it does. Okay. That's what I need. So in this bit, there's like a car that comes along. I'll just grab the whole melodic bit and then I'll chop up the melodic bit from there. I mean, I could just leave the car in. It's actually a pretty big chunk before the card hits. And I really wish like it would have audio during scrub. That'd be nice. I thought it did though. Maybe like this? No, it doesn't audio scrub. Zoom, zoom. Okay, and then they pull in here, right? Looks like it ends there. And then B is to split.
They ought to make the day the time changes the first day.
They
ought to make they ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer. They ought to make the day the time changes. They ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
There's gonna be a whole lot of that.
What?
Auditioning. Okay, can you like zoom? Looks like I missed. So I wish I could like grab these at the end too. That's just not how it works. Get away. What about like nudging? I can nudge, right? One or two. Like that. Oh, back. Like this is something you kind of can do on the MPC sample. It's just not as good as this. It'd be cool if like the MPC Live 3 had like a video player and you could do stuff like this with it. I don't know if you can. Like that would probably be the only real advantage of the Live 3 for me. It's great that it has, what do you call it? Beats or whatever. Beats. Full-on beats. It's just another distracting DAW. Okay, so what am I doing here? Alt-P?
They ought to make the day. They ought to make the day. They ought to make the day. They ought to make the day the time changes.
Maybe do some VJ capabilities. I'm pretty sure there's tools like that. Just MPC samples kind of, or MPC Akai. Akai is like the most reputable and directly for music composition, I guess. Another thing I noticed too was when I was trying to bring in those video game samples, I was doing an audition, well, not an audition, but setting up for sort of covering a video game track with the MPC sample. There was like loop points on the samples and they didn't translate into MPC samples. So I don't know what's up with that. I should put it on the wish list because I don't think it actually carries them. Or maybe I have to do it somewhere else. I don't know. And that's actually in deep within the internet. My keep. Okay, so that should be good for that chop, I think. Let's go up and then back and then play. Get this in the list here. I got a bunch of stuff. NPC sample wish lists. So these were posted, let's say, load loot points from waves for whatever that's worth, I guess. There hasn't been any improvements recently. Like, I haven't seen any firmware drops, so it's a little disappointing. NPC sample, because there's a chance that they're just gonna kind of like drop it, right? I mean, they probably have only 1.3. I'm pretty sure that's all I have already. Let's see the release notes. Yeah, normalized, now takeover. So those were like recent. That was the last one, and that was like April. It'd be nice if there was one every month, but I did kind of like overload them with a big request list. It's fine. Okay, so let's go from here and get this car. And then I'll be epic. I also have to do... I'll wait for this, at least this one chop. Maybe I should be wearing headphones. Ugh, but I gotta go grab the big headphones if I really want to be comfortable. I don't know. Sensible headphones. Yeah, because I really need to get in there. This is gonna be an ongoing one. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to do this. But I can turn around and sell it, right? And I'll have like a boatload of samples. That's another thing I was considering, like how much do I want to just keep moving through one video or one series? Because I got the Dick Tracy set here, and Dick Tracy is like, I don't know, like 30 episodes, 82 episodes, 82 episodes to dig through for samples. And I'm not getting a lot of like drums or anything. So I was also doing a project where I was like re-uploading public domain movies to my Odyssey, but it didn't like do anything. I think it was just me like testing the waters to see how things would go. Speaking of Odyssey, it's been a while since I've been here. Yeah, it's gonna make me log in again, whatever. So I have like a JWP film thing. Anyway, so these 3 videos actually are public domain, right? So I can pull from them. I'm not sure like the best quality they have. Is it like a silent film? That's another issue too, is that there's a lot of like orchestral, because they're older videos. There's a lot of orchestral stuff. There's the jazz singer. I also upscaled them, right? I spent a little bit of... I don't even have it anymore. I was like trying to make room for things. The jazz singer. Gone. I got a WebM. So apparently this one has been like... How would you say? Scrutinized for being all the... A blackface? I think there's a blackface scene in here.
Why? What'll it be? You're going to be in a movie.
Just looking for drums. But I think like right at the end there's blackface. Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, that's your hit song.
That's your hit song.
Climb up on my knee.
Huh. So there's just no drums there either. So I don't know about the jazz singer. The jazz singer, I could just pull it out of the. Looks like all my bad stuff is popping up there. Jazz singer of the Odyssey, of the original source. Because like there's a real lack of drums on a lot of this older stuff. It's mostly orchestral instruments. I could probably find some like Coco Bongo stuff though. I'm sure I can. This one, I think it's just another silent film too. Oh no, it's not. But I mean jazz, right? There's gotta be drums. It is a silent film. Is it like another blackface? Is it the same one I just looked at? Just thinking, what's all the blackface?
With your arms around me.
So no drums there either. Definitely gonna have to look for some Coco Bongo stuff or something like from that era that has like a focus on drums, at least some drums. Anyway, back to Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead has this one like synth sample towards the end. It's the only synth sample. Okay, so I think like right here. Back a little more. I'll maybe just cut it because I could probably get away with. I'll just chop it here because I'm trying to also do like timing too. I think after that little oboe bit. Like dun, and then right there. Can I zoom in more? More. Here. I can also overlap things too. So that's another thing I forgot about with the okay, so the workflow is I put the segments in and then I don't actually chop from here. I just export the times. And then from there they go into RX, and then RX implements regions, and then I take it to, well, and also like whatever. And then I take it to Edison, and then Edison, I can overlap things. So as long as like I have like a general area, that's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect as far as like a solid cut, because then from there, those chunks go to MPC sample, and then the end user can, you know, kind of move around where they want to cut. It's just that MPC sample can't handle an hour and a half of content, right? So it's just me going in and like broad cuts. I gotta think broad cuts. I'm always such a perfectionist. Broad cuts. Looks like ads are running, so I'm gonna do a quick BRB. All right. Continuing along, where is the end of this cut? There. Okay, and then another important part is labeling them, right? That's why I was having issues. Okay, so there's like this big long. How was I labeling them before? Because if I label them too long, they don't fit in like the MPC sample screen. That's another thing I asked for, was scrolling text for when you're looking at file names. What am I doing? Flow. I might as well just leave this folder open. Music production, video data, sample sources, series, samples. Okay, so I got like 3 points. 2004. This is going to be a little different though, but I think I can like cut out that last number because that's like milliseconds. I should be fine. Am I doing zeros though is the question. So it looks like I got 3 sets of 0. So what is this, minutes? And with Dick Tracy, it's only 20 minutes, right? But this is an hour and a half. So my naming scheme is going to have to say, let's say, MEL, how am I doing it? MEL dash, and then this would be orchestral or orchestral, and then dash. No dash. No dash. There's no dash between the timestamp, really? My microphone's way over there. Do I want a dash? It's really for naming purposes, just so like if it's like gunshot, SFX, it's just to add that differentiation. Do I want one? What do I have for in-betweens? Dots? I'm going to add it. Just in case like there's O's at the end. I don't know, zoo, and then you got 2 zeros. Okay. Dot. So hour. Right, minutes, seconds. 04. That's it. Do I want to add my sort of extra bit here, like Dick Tracy, 1937, episode 1? So what would this be? I just got to keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, so, and then couple that, and then this is mix. So X. That melody orchestral. How am I naming them here? X Vox laughing sound effects. Okay, so let's say melodic laughing melodic. So it looks like there's no dash in between mix stuff, which is not a good idea. Why do I have a space? Kebab. We're going to kebab everything. So, and then SFX, and then I'll put car. No, I'll put, because it's not, we can't really hear a car. It's more of just, oh, that's the end? Yeah, it's interesting that you can't actually hear the car running. It's just more of like gravel. So sound effects, what would you call this? Driving? Dirt road, I guess. Dirt road. It's not like anybody's ever going to use this, I don't think. It's just like definition, dirt road. Okay, and then this is at 4 to 5 seconds. So what the hell, the first one was 37 seconds? Why did I put 4? Okay, and then the next bit. This is melodic at, again, 45 seconds, 03. I'll put the end bits. 30 seconds, yeah, so 4 seconds. That's why I put 4 seconds, because that's where it starts. So I'm putting the end bit. 2 hours. I think I gotta wait till I actually get there, because it's not 2 hours. 2 hours, 2 minutes. 45 seconds, 35. Okay, so I have to fill in the blanks first here. Getting ahead of myself. And I probably could just let it keep rolling, and then just let's go there. That 109. previous one again is this. This is 125. There again. Okay, so what did I miss here? Dirt road. Looks like I messed up this one. There. Then I'll copy this orchestral. Yeah, it's putting ones and stuff in there now. Okay, so this. Road. This is 109. Is this one? Yeah. This is that at 125. This again is the dirt road bit. Let's get it from the clipboard here. Extended clipboard. Well, can I have it or not? Extended clipboard. 142. Actually, I think I screwed up, eh? Well, looks like the cut's there. Yeah, it's a lot of dirt road sound effects. Good enough. What's this?
They ought to make the day the time.
Okay. Think about there's good. Oh, that is where it's at. Okay. Let's hop around here. Some more car sound effects. There. And then this is melodic again. Melodic, orchestral, melodic at 149. This is again the mixture. So next cut. Then B orchestral.
They ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Clock and it's still light.
A lot of good.
More mix. I don't know. It doesn't let me like access the clipboard from there.
The day the time changes the first day of summer.
Where?
What? Well, it's 8
I don't know what happened there. Okay, so give me this. Oh, it does, but like it just be weird as sometimes. 219.
They ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
What? Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still
Okay.
light.
They ought to make the day the time changes. They ought to make the day.
It's just another car bit, eh? So from about here to there. So that's clean. Car bit. We lose the car. There. Okay, and then this is orchestral. 210. So this is 210. 210.2. 210.1. This is 158. It looks like, am I offline? I think I am. It looks like my ads are running a little rampant here. It's another thing I forgot to turn down, so let's click that. Okay, that's better. At least, because yeah, it looks like they're just going. Okay. So it's orchestral 210. It is no longer 210, it's 203. This one is 210. It's also a mixture. 210.
They ought to make the day the time changes the
Okay,
first
so
day of
it's
summer.
clear dialogue.
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, no, that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Okay, something's on cut here. So I'll call this clean dialogue box.
Hey,
We're coming back on the air after an interruption due to a
Smile.
technical problem.
Box clean dialogue, that's it. Dialogue. Is there anything significant I can cut out of there?
They ought to make the day the time changes
It's
the first day.
312,
what?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
3,
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be...
They ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, no, that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
nothing significant as far as I can tell that I like want to chop
They ought
out.
to make the day the time changes the
Test. We're back on? Oh. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problem. Interruption due to technical problem.
Let's go sound effects, I guess.
Test. We're back on? Oh. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air. We're coming. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen. Oh. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problem. Technical problem. Interruption due to technical problem.
Just click.
Ladies and
Hey.
gentlemen.
Late.
Technical problem. Technical problem due to technical problem.
Yeah, it's a nice clean cut. Okay, and there's also melodics there. Okay, so these 3 bits. This one, SFX.
Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen,
Read,
we're coming back on the air
tuning.
after an interruption due to technical problems.
0.00.17. Oh, I needed 3 in there. 3 minutes, and then
Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
okay, and then this is Vox again.
We're coming back on the air after an
Vox.
interruption due to technical problems.
Radio chatter, I guess. Radio chatter.
Nothing wrong with the radio. Must have been the station.
Which row is it in?
0.00.03.17. No, 0.22.
Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
Okay, and then SFX. SFX. Click. 0.03.23.
Nothing wrong with the radio.
Okay.
Must have been the station.
So I think I'm going to call it there. That's enough for today. I mean, I didn't get very far. What is it, like barely like a 10th? Not even a 10th. Well, I mean, I could measure it around a 30th. I like that cut you just got. I kind of like the somber orchestra as well. There's a really nice, like, if I can find it. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. So what happened with this movie, the reason it like immediately entered public domain is that the producers wanted to be called Flesh Devourers or something. I haven't seen this movie. This isn't The Night of the Living Dead. This is like way throwback 1968. So the producers wanted to call it the Flesh Devourers or something. So when they registered the copyright, they registered it as that. And then they registered the copyright under that name. And then they released it, and then they decided last minute, well, we want to call it The Night of the Living Dead. So they re-registered the name, but they didn't re-register the copyright. And back in those days, you had to do that. So when it like hit the theaters, when it hit, public release, there was no copyright. So as soon as this movie came out, it was public domain, which was like one of the biggest tragedies for like a big movie producer, right? So everything on here is free game. The images, the audio, everything, which is pretty amazing. With the case with Dick Tracy is they just didn't re-register the copyright. So there's a bit of a gray area, like along with like a lot of the orchestral, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the bits, the music bits, there is the potential where someone will be like, hey, I came up with that and I want that. So just got to watch out for that sort of thing. It's a good idea for me or any user to just like remix, like you grab little snippets and stuff, but it's better to just come up with your own sort of composition and then just use the parts as like a bass backbone. So towards the end here, I think when they're outside and there's a fire going, it's a little bit of a brutal movie for back in the day. I don't even know where it is. I'll have to just come across it. Because there's like an explosion here, I think around here. I don't know. It's in there somewhere, but there's like one scene, one like little bit where they use a synthesizer. One cut out of everything else. There's like strings. There's not really any drums, I've noticed. But like there's one little synthesizer sound, and it's like a mix. There's crap in the background, so it's kind of a dirty sample, but it's kind of outstanding for all of these other, like 1968. I don't even know what they had for synthesizers back then. This shouldn't be playing. Synthesizers in the 60s. It was probably like a Moog. traditionally room-sized yet academic laboratory equipment. So they like, no, they were Moogs. They look like this. Like, this is the only way you'd probably be able to get like a synthesizer. So that one little sample is like kind of gold, especially from something like this. It's really dirty, but yeah. And I'm happy that I put some time into the sampling session. So this is the first one. I don't know how many these are gonna go. Like, I mean, the extents, it was all monophonic. I wouldn't know if it was monophonic, because that just means like one ear. Monophonic, that's one layer voices. So you could probably layer different voices. But as far as like stereo sound, like stereo binaural, and then like when we call stereo and mono, it's monaural. Like, and then there's binaural beats, right? And the only reason they call them binaural is because it's stereo. It has to be stereo. But yeah, polyphonic and monophonic are just stacked, like a chord is polyphonic. But you could do polyphonic with them. I'm pretty sure back in the day, though, it was all like there wasn't stereo yet. I mean, people had two ears, but they didn't develop like the stereo signal. There was a standard stereo standard for TV. When? 1984. So. What about what for movies? I don't know if that was a thing. Movies? Stereo movies, 1970. Had it before, but the single voice, or maybe they had some polyphonic add-ons. Well, yeah, usually like a lot of the synths you could stack. They'd let them stack, but it required a whole other machine. Like you'd have to have dedicated oscillators, kind of thing. So I'm just thinking, what am I gonna do? So like there's this whole archive on archive.org of like stuff. I mean, it's just plus since this is like the first sampling video, I might as well give away all my digs. I guess LibriVox would be, but it's just all like audio, right? Another humongous machine. Yeah, pretty much. So like two fridges. If you have two fridges, you can make like what would you say, a unison sound? Where is the RPM one? RPM library here. And then there's the Library of Congress. Library of Congress. Because someone actually, I don't know where my clown switches have knobs on them. And then, so there's like lots of digs. Here we go. So there's also these. Like there's a whole bunch of records that have been digitized from back in the day. A lot of it isn't like public domain, but there is the odd one, and it's nice to have like a source. So if I go look for, what's in public domain, and then I can come here and sort of dig those up. So making clown. I'll say Library of Congress, Library Congress audio sampler. So this was something that somebody started a little while ago. Collections with audio recordings, Citizen DJ. Make music using the free-to-use audio and video materials from the Library of Congress. So this is pretty much another resource. I don't know, free music archive. Like the list goes on and on. And it's really zeroing into what is. Like there's a sample here though. I don't know where it is. Zeroing into like what is, your sound and where you want to take your sound and what kind of samples you want. Where is it? Music box. Music. Explore remix. Yeah, okay, so like this is a whole beat machine within itself. it's really loud for me. Download options. And it shows you like where they came from. Part of the free music collection. So it's pretty crazy, like the depth of the internet. And then of course there's vinyl, but I don't do vinyl because it's just, I don't have a record player. And there's always that copyright issue. So it's kind of the same thing here. It's just like digging in these vinyls. And of course there's like the piano player digitization. Piano player digitizations. And again, not everything is in the public domain, but there is player piano. Digitizations. Archive org. There we go. So back in the day, they used to have like these pianos that would automatically play music, and they had like these little rolls. And I guess people have been like storing these rolls. I don't know where that specifically is. So it's pretty much like I said, you can go and look at what's in the public domain, and then you can load up these things. I mean, it would be pretty cool to have an actual player piano. Player piano. Digitization to player piano rolls. Digitization. Catalog here. QS. Yeah, because they're like also held by the company themselves. So like, if even though a song is in public domain, there's still like the company that comes in and they sort of transcribe it, right? It's like, look at this catalog. So this company QRS actually holds the copyright for their version of that song kind of thing. But still, like, it goes way back. So, yeah. We're going forward. I have to narrow in on exactly what I want. Not only that, there is also my own content. So, like when I go out or I do things or when I record things, I can totally, sample my own stuff. Because I also have, was it Digiband? I've gone through so many, not you, Digiband Aztec? Yeah. I've gone through so many like automatic music composers. There's also one online. What is it called? Procedural music, animation, music. Online? Online. But there's a generator online music maker. That's pretty abundant music. Here it is. This thing is absolutely insane. Like the depth that it goes through. So you can actually like tune and tweak how you like want certain things to go. The only issue I had with this is I can't save my presets. I asked the developer, like, how can I save my presets so that I can just, come back in and load them every time or, have a certain way. And he said, like, well, it doesn't work like that. It has to be like in your browser. So say if you like clear your browser history, so that all that just kind of disappears. Setting, song setting, and then I'll just go song. How do I roll it? There's a roll somewhere. Player song info. Player. Export. You can even like the MIDI, which is crazy. Get the MIDI out of it. I'm just trying to figure out how to activate this compose button. It's just not happening. Song. Load. Random. There we go. Okay. And then it puts together something. I mean, it doesn't sound that great when you first start it out, but it's just the data's there and you can like limit the data. It's procedural, right? So you kind of contain it and then you get something like this in the end. I guess I can't close it, can I? Now, how do I push play? Where's the play button? Player. Play. It's really loud for me. And of course, like, there's not a genre specific, but that's a lot of data. And again, that's something else that can be sampled. And then there's, of course, AI. But AI sort of falls in the domain of copyright free and just really kind of shady. I don't know. This is different. There's a difference between AI generated and procedural generated. I don't know if procedural generated qualifies for copyright. It's sort of a bit of a gray area again, because there's not enough human interaction, but sort of the situation is you can limit things. So like you refine your decisions. It's not like AI where you just say go and it goes, and you know I want something that's kind of sounds like this, sort of text-based. This is your kind of refining the directions things go in. So there's still a level of randomness. And here's another procedural music generator. I did buy a license for this, and when I bought the license, I was like, if I change my computers, am I going to be able to take my license with me? And they reassured me that, yeah, you know, we'll reset the server. And then I contacted them after I did, and they didn't honor that. But I did manage to pump out like 200 tracks from here. So, and some of them I think I at least got like one masterpiece out of it. It was really nice piece of music. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, the crates are endless. So as far as sampling, like this whole segment for my streams, it's going to be inexhaustive. I don't want to spend too much time on it. And I'll probably try, like I said, narrow in the targets. I do want like some Dick Tracy stuff for Hey Copper, She, like that kind of stuff. And like, I do need drums, so drums can come from anywhere. Then again, I do have like an endless supply of drums that I got to tidy up. It's just something to do. And sampling is like a skill within itself. And I'm going to keep it going. So that's the general direction of these streams. And it's going to be a lot of tedium of just me digging around. It won't always be big, long movies. And eventually there'll be like application, right? So most things, I guess I could consider this practice. We'll call this practice, me just like doing broad cuts and digging through things. And then I'll do application. So generally, like all of my segments are practice, application, and then marketing. So that'll be the cycle for things. So next session, my next sampling session, I'll actually take some samples and I'll do something with them. I don't know, FL Studio, MPC sample, wherever the samples will apply. Probably MPC sample because I want to use that. Eventually one day I will get Beat software, Akai Beat software. So that's also another destination where samples can go just for that sampling style workflow. And yeah, until then, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for Nostro for coming through and saying what's up. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to help support what I do, you can find my GoFundMe by searching for JWP Fund. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever makes you click are appreciated. Thanks for watching.